Hi everyone and welcome. So today I'm going to be talking about how to connect your Lego train set to Jira. So first, a little bit about me. So I'm Melissa, everyone calls me Mel, and I'm a developer advocate at Atlassian. So I help people build apps for products like Confluence and Jira using Forge. And I'm also the creator of Forge Quest, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But essentially, I'm pretty passionate about getting people to, even with the smallest amount of development experience, to give Forge a try and build apps on our ecosystem. And yeah, in my spare time, I like to knit, play Nintendo, and build Lego sets. So one of the Lego sets that I happen to own is the Lego City passenger train set. And it's a powered up set, which means it has a programmable hub built in, and it can be controlled by Bluetooth. And that leads to my talk today, building the Jira celebration train. So who here has used Jira? Basically everyone, cool. All right, so I know when I move a work item, formerly known as an issue, to the done status, I usually feel pretty happy. But like Melinda shared in the keynote, sometimes it can be good to be a bit extra. And so having a Lego set do a victory lap when you close a Jira work item, that's extra, right? So in my talk today, I'll share how you can control a Bluetooth device from Jira using an API with Forge. So yeah, as you can imagine, there are lots of other applications that you could use this technology for in the Internet of Things. So you could control a nanoleaf display to change color based on your Jira queue, or I've been considering building an Adafruit sensor that will send me a Jira ticket when my favorite plant is looking a little bit dry. So maybe you're wondering why I did this, and the answer is two parts, ShipIt and to see if I could. So a few times a year, Atlassian runs an event called ShipIt, and it's a company-wide event where we get to take 24 hours to work on whatever we like. And so I figured if a train can be controlled by Bluetooth, I wanted to see if I could control it with Jira. And ShipIt was the perfect opportunity to try that out. And it was actually way easier than I thought, which is great because it means I can show you guys how to do it today. So what are you going to need? 1, the Lego Express passenger train set. 2, this is optional. I'm using this today, and that is the color and distance sensor, and that allows you to detect on the track at a certain point how to stop the train. Otherwise, you just have to base it on timing. And then you'll need a computer with Bluetooth, internet access, and a free Atlassian developer account. You'll also need to install the Forge CLI and set up a free test cloud instance. Yeah, so I've already done those things. So how do you build it? Okay, there are 3 parts. So the first thing that you need to do is create a Pybricks app. So that is the app that's going to get installed on the train. And so what you do is you replace the Lego firmware that comes out of the box with a MicroPython app. The second thing that you need to do is build an API on your computer that interacts with the train via Bluetooth and then serves that onto the internet. So you would usually use ngrok. I'm using the Atlassian internal equivalent because I'm not allowed to use ngrok. And then the third thing that you need is your Forge app, which you install onto your Jira cloud site. And that's going to call the Python API that you're serving through your computer or maybe your Raspberry Pi. And that will call using a web trigger, which is something that happens, that you can schedule to happen in response to certain events in the product. So in this case, it's going to trigger when I change something about an issue. And so, yeah, so this is what it's going to look like. So we've got our Jira cloud site. So we'll send off a product trigger when we move an issue from the in progress state to the done state. That's going to send the message through to the Forge infrastructure, which will then send an API call to my web service, and then that's going to, in turn, send the Bluetooth message through to my train. So we can have a quick look at the Pybricks firmware. This is the first step. So essentially, here I have used the code.pybricks.com to build my own app. And then you can connect via Bluetooth, and that will allow you to overwrite the app on the Lego train. You can also replace it and put back the original firmware afterwards when you're done. And that actually saves it on the train as well. So then you can disconnect and your app will still be installed on the train. And so then the next thing that you will need to do is create your Python API. So there's a really great guide on Pybricks, which explains how to build the Bluetooth Python script that speaks to the train. And essentially what you're doing is polling. So the Pybricks train is set up to poll standard in. And so then your API will send a message via standard in over the Bluetooth connection. And that then you're also exposing that as an API onto the internet. Now, my API is not authenticated in any way. So if you guys are really quick today, you might be able to control the train too. But that's not a challenge, okay? It's not a challenge. All right, and so then let's see, actually, I'll explain the Jira Forge app next. So the next thing that you're going to do is build your Jira app. So I'm going to actually show you how to do that live now. Okay. So, oh, you can't see my window. Great. Okay, so is that big enough for everyone to see? Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm going to run Forge Create here just to show you how quick this is. Okay, and I'm going to name my app. So I'm just going to name this example because I'm not feeling very interesting today. And then I'm going to choose Show All. And we're going to go to Triggers because I said we were making a trigger. Okay, and what I'm looking for here is the product trigger template. So this is actually building a ready-made template using the Forge CLI. So it'll basically all be set up and ready to go, which means all you need to do is deploy it and install it to your instance, and it's going to already automatically have an event that will fire and print something to the console, if I remember correctly. We can have a look at it up here. No, not that one. Okay, let's try that again. So, no, this one. Yeah, so this one's going to print hello world to the console, and it's going to do that. If we look in the manifest, we'll see when it will do that. So that's going to do that every time a Jira issue is created. But that's not exactly what we want to do today. So here is one that I've prepared earlier, which is a little bit different. So if we have a look at the manifest, so rather than using the Jira created issue event, I'm using the Jira updated issue event. You'll also see here I've actually created, I've added an egress permission so that I can actually send that API call out. And so now if we look at the app itself, you can see that I'm looking for this done ID, and that's actually the ID for the status that I'm changing into. So that's pretty easy to configure, but it will be different for every project on your instance. So you can work that out using this section here. And yeah, so what it's going to do is it's going to check in the changelog to see if one of the changes is a status change, and then it's going to check that that status change matches this ID, and if it does, it's going to call the URL. Okay, so let's try it out in practice. So I need to find my cursor, other way. There we go. Okay, so let's get these. So I'm going to start my tunnel so that it's available online. And then once that's started, we'll start this. Okay, so now it says I need to turn the Lego hub on, which I do because it's not on. Okay, so it's connected to the hub, and I've got to press it again to start the program, which it started. Now, the hardest bit is making sure it's actually on the track. Okay, so now, I've already installed this to my site, by the way. I didn't want to risk waiting to do that live. But yeah, here's my instance that I prepared earlier with my issues. And so now if I move this into the done state, the train should do a lap. Let's see if the demo gods are with me. Oh, it should be. Yay! I was meant to show you guys that on the big screen, but I think everyone saw it, right? Cool, yeah, so that's it. And that means we've got time for questions. Oh, actually, no, there are some other things I should probably tell you, housekeeping and such. So, where are my slides? Sorry. Okay, yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about Forge. If I can find my slides, that would be great. There you go. Yeah, cool. Okay, so you can check out my solution at GitHub, and that has the Forge app, as well as the Python modules and the Python app that runs on my local computer. And so now, if you want to try Forge, you don't need a Lego set. Forge is free, it's easy to use, as I've just shown you, and you can get started with Forge Quest, which explains the basics and guides you through a lot of simple tutorials. So you can create your own Jira ticket celebrations to your heart's content, or many other things. That's the QR code for Forge Quest. And yeah, with that, we've got 2 minutes for questions. Does anyone have a question?
Can I just ask, is Forge available for if you have an on-prem installation of Jira as well, or is it only cloud?
It's only cloud. So we do have we do have the option for you to build apps on-premise. And that is available on our developer documentation as well. But it is a little bit more complicated because we don't provide all the hosting and stuff for you, obviously. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions? No? Okay, well, if you guys want to talk about how you can use Forge, feel free to come and chat to me over the next couple of days. I also have Tim Tams, which I forgot to put out on the seats. But please come and talk to me about and grab a Tim Tam as well, so that you can also celebrate with the Tim Tam. Thank you, everyone.